I do movies in the 3 to 5 million range. That's catering budget on the Spider-Man or Avengers movie. Those are $300 million movies. And here you and I are trying to do movies with a positive message. And it's like pulling teeth to try to raise money for messages out there that have a positive influence on the culture. Our dear friend Andrew Breitbart, he said it, politics runs downstream from culture. Who runs the culture? Hollywood does, along with the mainstream media. So my battle is there to try to get these movies funded, to get these movies out there that have something positive, something good.
Everyone knows who follows you on social media that you are a conservative Christian. How is that received when you show up on set? When you show up to act, or whether you're there as a producer or as a director? I mean, are you embraced with open arms? People ask questions, or are you ridiculed?
Kirk, I think you know what it's like. Hollywood loves guys like you and me. When I tell people I'm a Christian and a conservative, it's like being a double leper in Hollywood. So what's interesting to me, that what I've felt is being a conservative is enough, but being a Christian seems to be even a more bad thing to be in Hollywood. It's very strange to me. My manager and agent really bid farewell to me 11 years ago now. It was like an intervention. They brought me in the office and said, "We can't work with you anymore." And I was like, "Why?" Well, the studios and all that, because of your stance. I'm going, wow. And you guys are the ones who are always screaming for tolerance and freedom of speech. But as you know, in the world of Hollywood, the secular world of Hollywood, that's a one-way street. And thank God for independent movies, because my wife and I, we have our own production company called Sorbo Studios. Please go to sorbostudios.com and check it out. But we've been doing most of our own productions on our own, finding the funding, either producing them. I've been directing them, and acting in them. But thank God the independent world is still around, because without it, I don't think I'd be working at all right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. You talked about sort of being the double leper, a conservative, but then also a Christian. And I wonder what that must be like if you're on the opposite side of the political and religious fence as guys like you and me. I don't know. Maybe they think that if they get a guy like you around them too much, I don't know. You might, as a conservative, you could sick Tucker Carlson on them or something like that. But if you're a Christian, well, then it's God, right? And then that's the next level. Let me ask you this. Do you think that you've been hindered from really getting the opportunities that you've wanted as an actor because of your religious faith?
Oh, I think there's no question about it. And that's okay. God opened another door for me, and the world I'm on now, I love it. Certainly, as you know, in the TV world with our series, the pay rates are pretty darn good compared to what you get paid in independent movies, but that's okay to me. Hollywood owes me nothing, and to me, it's like this is a different path and a different door that opened up to me, and I love the road I'm on. I like the movies that I'm doing. You see the things coming out of Hollywood. Walt Disney said back in the 1950s that movies and television will influence our youth. Well, look what's going on in the world right now, in every major city around the world, every country. I want to do movies that have a positive influence on people, have love, laughter, hope, redemption, faith, things that are missing in so many movies in Hollywood right now that really has so much anger and hate out there. Every time there's any kind of a shooting somewhere, Hollywood A-listers come out and say, we got to stop doing this. We got to get rid of guns. These are the same people who do these incredibly violent movies and killing 100 people every movie with guns. So the hypocrisy just keeps reeking out of there for me. And I just go, come on, you guys, if you want to play this card, then don't be hypocritical about it. Go down that road that you want to be a champion for. So I don't know. It's just, this has been good for me. And I've lost some things. I'm surprised I got a role in the Reagan movie that's coming out later this year with Dennis Quaid, but I did get a nice little role in that, playing a pastor. So maybe in their mind, they were typecasting me, even though I'm not a pastor. I'm one, in movies. So we'll see what happens. But I'm very fortunate. I shot 4 movies last year we can talk about, and I got a couple more lined up this year, which I'm very excited about.
Kevin, how do you know when to speak up about something? You're pretty vocal on social media. You're known as a guy who stands for your convictions. When do you close your mouth, and when do you stand up and say something?
Yeah, it's hard not to close my mouth, but they've done such a good job of beating us down through the mainstream media, through the government, just over and over and over again, and the anger and hatred out there. Look, I can post on Twitter, I can say it's a beautiful day, and I'll have 5% of my followers say, I hope you die. I hope your daughter gets raped. I mean, the stuff they say is
Wow.
unbelievable to me. The hate out there. I mean, these are, and you know, these people, they have their own problems. I think these people do not have that love your neighbor as yourself. These are people filled with so much anger and hate and disappointment in their lives. They're pointing at you and me, God, family, friends, the world for their problems. The reality is they got to look in the mirror and say, this is where it starts, but they don't do that. But, you know, Facebook took me down about 8 months ago, total ban. And I was posting things about COVID, but I was posting things, what other doctors were saying. Hey, look what these doctors are saying. What do you think? But that was against their community rules, apparently, that if you have an opposing point of view. On Twitter, thank God they haven't taken me down yet. I mean, on Twitter, I post things pretty comical. I said, if you want to get rid of COVID, tell the Clintons that COVID has something on them. So that one got quite a few hits. I said, if you want to get rid of masks in schools, then take away the school desk and replace them with restaurant tables. That got a lot of good hits as well. But I'm just saying we can't be afraid, you know, of what people are going to say, what people are going to come after us. Because if we start censoring ourselves and censoring the truth, then this country is already enough in trouble the way it is. But we got to keep fighting back. And that's why I tell people, I'm not here to wake up the sheep. I'm here to wake up the lions.
Good. I was talking with Charlie Kirk one day, and he said the worst kind of censorship out there is self-censorship. When we've been so conditioned to do this, then nobody else has to censor us because we're already doing the work for them. So I'm glad you're standing up for the things that you believe in, the things that are important, and free speech is something that this country has always championed and defended. Kevin, let me ask you this question. You've been a part of so many different projects. You've been in 60 different movies alone. How do you choose the projects you want to be a part of?
Well, it's actually, there's about a dozen in there I wish I didn't do, but you can't plan on those things all the time. But, you know, I get a lot of scripts through independent writers, obviously, and through my site. And, you know, I'll give scripts 20 pages. If they don't, they're no interest in me after 20 pages, I just move on. But the biggest thing is I've got probably a dozen scripts that I want to do. I mean, I've gone through 1,000 scripts, and I said, no. Okay, these are the ones I want to do. So that has more importance to me to raise money than to raise money for another startup that I'm not attached to. And I keep telling people that too. I said, if you get it funded, I like your movie, but get it funded, we can talk. I just don't have the energy. My energy is focused on the ones that I want to do. And as you know, it's like pulling teeth. You know, I do movies in the 3 to 5 million range. That's catering budget on the Spider-Man or Avengers movie. You know, those are $300 million movies. And here you and I are trying to do movies with a positive message. And it's like pulling teeth to try to raise money for messages out there that have a positive influence on the culture. Our dear friend Andrew Breitbart, he said it, you know, politics runs downstream from culture. Who runs the culture? Hollywood does, along with the mainstream media. So my battle is there to try to get these movies funded, to get these movies out there that have something positive, something good. I've got 4 movies coming out this year that are shot in the can. 2 of them I directed. One is called Miracle in East Texas. It's a true story set in 1930. I got Lou Gossett Jr. in this movie. I got John Ratzenberger in this movie. My wife Sam was awesome in the movie. I've got the Reagan movie. I just finished directing and acting in the next Left Behind chapter called Rise of the Antichrist. We are a go. I just finished my final edit on it. They want to get this thing up by Easter. And I've got an amazing
Kevin, I know you got all these great movies, and that's really great. But look, I've got a little bit of a beef with you. This whole new Left Behind movie, I didn't get a phone call. You know, I got a little history with that whole franchise. I didn't get a call from the casting director. I was left behind again. Nick Cage did the same thing with the reboot of the first one. What's going on?
Well, I took over Nicolas Cage's role. I didn't take over yours.
Yeah, well, what do you hope to accomplish with another Left Behind movie?
It's the guys at Cloud 10. You know those guys. You got to bring it up with them.
Now, tell me, what are you hoping to accomplish with this next Left Behind movie?
You know, the rapture's happened. Obviously, the world is a pretty, you know.
Wait a minute. Did you say the rapture has already happened? Hold on, yeah. Guys. Why are we still here?
We're still here.
Wait, we're still here on the set of TBN. This is a problem.
Somewhere along the line we screwed up. But no, it's a little darker. It's a little grittier than I think the other ones that have been out there. And you know, we'll see how it all pieces together. But they wrote a great story. They made it very today. So you're going to deal with the cancel culture and the wokeness and the it's going to be. I think people will find it pretty fascinating. I think they did a great job with the rewrite on it.
That's awesome.